18-year-old man's been arrested on suspicion of murder following the death of a teenager who was stabbed in Birmingham last night. The victim's been named as Josh Ribera, a promising young rapper who was attending a fundraising night for a friend who was stabbed in the city a year ago. Yvonne Brissett reports.
Teenagers lay flowers on the street where their friend Josh Ribera was stabbed in Selly Oak last night. The up-and-coming rapper, known as Depzman to his friends, died in hospital in the early hours of this
morning. So my name's Alison Cope. I lost my son Joshua in 2013, and then I realised when Josh passed away how many young people were affected by youth violence and, you know, the effect it has on all societies and how it can deeply impact people with trauma. And then I realised that I needed to at least try and help the young people affected by it, and that's led to me becoming one of the top campaigners in the country, speaking to young people every day in schools, colleges, prisons, just trying to educate them about the reality of it. Josh went to an event. It was a normal evening, you know, nothing I was concerned about. A minor argument between Josh and another young man that quickly escalated to a fight. That fight was split up and the young man was put outside. And then with the contribution of friends and comments, it just escalated to the point where a knife was brought back to the event, and Josh was followed across the car park. Josh was unarmed and he was stabbed once in the heart, and he passed away 7 hours after receiving a stab wound to his chest. So that's what happened. It's had a huge, massive, constant ripple effect. So when it first happened, the main impact was to Josh, then you've got the perpetrator and every single person linked to both sides. So that is the start of the ripple effect. And because a young person is not coming back after murder, the ripple effect continues. It's had a deep impact on my daughter. Both my parents have passed away since Josh died, and I think that, you know, played a role in their deaths. And I've got grandchildren. They're in secondary school now, and it's constantly thrown in their face, and it just carries on rippling through, and it will ripple through everybody that loved Josh, everybody that knew Josh, everybody that knew the perpetrator forever. Because when somebody's murdered, you don't get a second chance, they don't come back. So the ripple effect will continue and continue and continue. There isn't a stopping point, because there's no healing. There's nothing that can actually stop it continuing.
And you touched on social media there. Would you say that's one of the big reasons why this happens, like knife crime and youth violence?
I think it's a big part of it, yeah. I think if you have a look at, you know, gangs, drugs, for example, you will see there has been an increase in gang affiliation, drug dealing, county lines. Now, where has a young person got the idea that that's acceptable and that's just a good way of life? And all you have to do is have a look at media, and you'll see that certain language, certain attitudes, certain lifestyles are promoted as glamorous, and unfortunately not everyone's got the guidance to tell them, well, that isn't what life is really about. You know, we then throw in the fact that we've had so many cuts, so positive role models within youth centres, within probation, within social services, within schools. Unfortunately, you know, their roles have been taken away, so young people feel like they're on their own and they're being sold a dream, and the predator that used to be is now on a mobile phone, brainwashing young people to live a lifestyle, get involved in situations, and then when there is an incident, they're believing that their life is at risk. And, you know, the consequence of that is some are taking a knife to what used to be a very normal situation, pre-arranged fight, and it's turning into a fatality. And we've got a lot of keyboard warriors now talking online, making comments. Now, if you imagine having an online argument, go to bed, wake up, but then the next day you see that person in real life, it could potentially become a real life issue. And that's the kind of thing we're seeing time and time again.